the platform where we highlight extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. It's your host, the media twins, Carol Coco Diggs, Lynn. Honey, we go behind the scenes and bring you the latest and what's going on in the industry, what's happening in entertainment, travel, media, and so much more. And today we would like to welcome our special guest, Ms.Vonnetta Cornish, who writer and executive producer of The Exit Row, which is an award-winning Las Vegas Film Fest movie that is coming out soon. So we have our special guest, executive producer, writer, I'm so excited, as well as two of her actors on the line, Tennyson Harris and Arna Drew. And we are so excited to have you here today. Just wait,
thank you,
girl. I'm gonna give you the mic.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for you guys for all joining us today. Of course, I had the pleasure of meeting Ms.Vonnetta. It was the most amazing experience to sit in the room with her and preview her film, which I'm not going to give you no spoilers. We're not going to do that. So, Ms.Vonnetta, if you can kind of tell us a little bit about your media and what gave you the inspiration to do Exit Row.
Oh, well, thank you so much. First of all, thank you for having me, Coco and Lynn. So I could go on for hours talking about this, but I know we don't have that much time, so I'm going to keep it real short. So essentially, the Exit Row, the idea for the Exit Row came to me in 2015. You may recall my first feature film, Bachelorette's Degree. Bachelorette's Degree starred Milan Perez, who played as Denny Lewis, the lead character. And her character in that movie was someone who had control of the circumstances in her life. Her love, career, family decisions, she led on those decisions. She was driving her life, all well and good. So what I wanted to do for my next film was I wanted to write about a character who would be more complicated, who would have to go through something, but it wouldn't be her fault. And in the process of what she would be going through, the question remained, would she be a victim or would she sort of fight her way through? And so that became the genesis of Sasha Dade, who was played by our phenomenal lead actress, Arna Drew. And to create Sasha's character, I had to think about a situation I could put her in, or a circumstance I could create, again, not a circumstance that she would have caused herself, but something that would have happened to her and that she would have to work her way through. And so that was the genesis of Sasha. And Tennyson Harris here, who plays Sasha's husband in the movie, phenomenal, Bryce Dade Sr. And knowing the direction I sort of wanted Sasha to go, wanted to make sure that in this film, her husband would be someone who is a loving, supportive husband. And so that became the genesis of his character. And again, as starting to think about the story and the direction it would go, when it came to, what actions he would take, I had to focus on, remembering this is a loving husband. This is a caring husband, a supportive husband. So, of course, his actions had to fall in line with that. So
that's so beautiful. So, like, in your right now, where do you feel you are as far as entertainment? Where has it taken you?
Oh, wow. It is, first of all, it's so much bigger than me because Lynn, you had the pleasure of seeing the Exit Row at the Las Vegas Black Film Festival. And
yes,
so
I did.
You saw the dynamic performances that Honor gave, that Tennyson gave, and the entire cast and crew, and our lead actor, Michael Smidley, who's not here today, but he played Clint Myers. So first of all, this is so much bigger than me. I knew that from the start, and every step I take with it, that rings even more true. So where it's taken me, wow.
Yeah, we want to know.
Beyond.
We all want to know.
it's gonna take me beyond where I can imagine, because that's how God works. We all know that.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm intentional about making
Oh,
sure
yes.
this movie ends up in a good place. But Lynn, you heard sort of what the audience was calling for. Our audience at the encore, at the premiere was sold out, and the encore screening getting very consistent feedback on this movie. And so I think some of that audience feedback is also helping determine sort of what comes next and where we go.
Interesting. Now I have a question for all three of you. We'll start with Ms.Vonnetta. So, what are the three most challenging obstacles you have found in your journey of being in entertainment, and how did you overcome those obstacles to stay at a balanced space in your life so you can proceed with what you're doing?
Oh, wow. Interesting. Three most challenging obstacles. I would say, it's funny because for me, obstacles or hurdles are something meant to be overcome, right? So I think, once you make a decision to get started, then you just start finding your way. So I would say until you get started, then perhaps that's an obstacle, right? But I think Honor and Tennyson can tell you that this industry is so organic. One thing always leads to another. And, obstacles. Wow. So as a producer, I mean, you always have to make sure you have resources in place to start and complete a project. As a producer, I tend to make sure that all of that is in place. I never want to start a film that I can't complete, because that would be an absolute disappointment to me and everyone else who gives their time, energy, taking time away from family and other commitments to work on a project so that they too can build their careers. So again, that's why I said it's so much bigger than me. I have an absolute responsibility to make sure that everybody gets the best out of it, and that not only do I become better, but they become better, and then that they get to shine. I love to see people shine. So that's my joy. So I'm going to turn it over to Honor Tennyson to speak on it.
Yeah, for sure. Check. I agree with what Vonnetta was saying. I would say myself, I was my own biggest obstacle. To be honest, especially in this industry. I mean, just that like, for one, we're in this industry because it's a passion of ours and it's something that we love to do. At the same time, it's just like, sometimes I would let a doubt creep in, or fear, or like, hey, am I good enough? Like, to really be here and to do this, and then it was just, it just clicked, and it was like, as you go along through life and you follow your journey, you get confirmation along the way. Right. And for me, there were many times I got that confirmation, like, I'm supposed to be here and I'm supposed to be doing this. Now, am I ready to maintain it? Not as of yet. But am I going to those destinations to get me to that spot? Absolutely. I'm on the right track. So I would say I was my biggest obstacle at first. I'm no longer that. I would say, and the second biggest obstacle for me as well was just having the freedom to be able to do this full time. Right. Because a lot of people who are in this industry, you got to start from somewhere. And it'd be great if I, had somebody paying my bills and taking care of me. But, I got a mortgage to pay. I got a car note. My job and other things were an obstacle that I was no longer happy doing. And, it was a disservice. So that is no longer an obstacle. I am now a full-time entrepreneur and can now, support my acting. So I'm going to just go with those two for right now.
Okay. Tennyson?
Okay.
It's all the things that were said kind of went along with what I had in my mind. I would say the hardest thing is balance and patience. Balance / patience in your life. Like Anna was saying, when you have bills to pay and kids to feed, and also, you don't always have the option to be like a starving artist. You don't. I actually don't. I knew that. I was like, well, I had to sit down and be like, well, that's not an option. I have to make this happen while taking care of my responsibilities, and that's the most difficult thing. Sometimes you have to pull time out of nowhere in order to do this. I think that a second thing would be discernment. Um, it's kind of what Vonnetta was talking about. Unfortunately, not all producers have the same mentality that Vonnetta has when it comes to seeing a project through to the finish. They'll start a project and you'll never hear from it, and you've invested time, you've invested travel, you've got, stepped away from your loved ones, you've held your social life on you put your social life on hold to do a project, and you never see it, especially on the independent level. And so knowing what to invest your time in is a hard lesson to learn. And it's partially true that, like, sometimes you just I've seen projects where I didn't feel like it had gone anywhere, but I made important connections. So sometimes you just have to move in the direction of your dream. You just have to just keep moving, and you know, something happens when we kind of posture ourselves with that intention. Things start to open up and to fall into place, and you just have to move. And along those lines, the third thing will be just staying grounded in the middle of all of it, not doubting yourself when you get rejected over and over and over again, and not kind of like using that as to reflect on yourself and saying, well, there's something wrong with me. We all have things to work on. We all have growth, areas of growth. But to be honest, the way that you can, there's something about going through that process that actually makes you a better artist.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And especially as an actor, or as a writer, you can write from a place of, you've been in pain, you've been in rejection, you've experienced heartbreak, you've experienced all these things. Every bad experience in my life has made me more accessible to certain emotions that other people might not. So
agreed.
Love it. That's very interesting. Wow.
That's definitely.
Yeah. He got chills in my arms right now. That was deep. So, Ms. Diggs, do you have any questions on your end?
I did. I did see the trailer. The trailer was awesome, but no spoilers, of course. But one of the things I wanted to know is, I'm going to ask Meta what awards y'all took home at the Las Vegas Film Festival. I'll ask that first, and then I have something else after that. But I want to hear about these awards y'all.
Okay. Okay, sure. So this year, 2022, Las Vegas Black Film Festival, The Exit Road won the award for Best Drama. The Exit Road also won an award for Best Film Score, which is related to the music throughout the movie. And then The Exit Road also won an award for Script to Screen. And I'll tell you, that third award, Script to Screen, was because in 2019, when I went to the Las Vegas Black Film Festival, The Exit Road won an award for Best Original Work. And so, yes. And I think others have heard me say that when I was at the festival in 2019, of course, I spoke about getting ready to take this film into production, and I'm thrilled that I was able to do it, despite the pandemic. Of course, I didn't have a crystal ball about the pandemic coming. And so obviously once the film was done, my thought was, well, if the festival liked the script in 2019, I hope they like the movie. So I submitted again, and here we are. Again, the film was well received at the festival, and everything just came together, and that evidence has come through consistently, from story, performance, again, the music, so everything that everyone brought to this movie, the best of themselves that they could deliver. Audiences that have received it very well. I'm continually proud. Will always be proud.
Yes.
And again, it's beyond me, and we're in it. So, and still more to come, and still more to come. So.
I have a question, Ms. Vonnetta. take us to that very first experience, what it felt like when you got that first award, when your name was called. Take us to that moment from Inside Out.
For this year's festival, 2019.
No, your very, very first award. And then you're going to go to the next one. But
Okay, the very
first award. Yeah.
A feeling of gratitude, because it's great that when I, of course, finish the screenplay and I think, okay, we got something here. This is a story. I see this. This has come together. It's great that obviously not only I see that, but that it's recognized again beyond me, because ultimately there's going to be an audience beyond me. And this year, I mean, it was just the wow factor 3 times, right? So it was like, wow, wow, wow. I know that this movie is special. I know what went into it. Every single moment. Again, the writing process, again, the many days spent just, again, not taking lunch with a friend, just focused on the writing, and not feeling a bad sacrifice in that. But again, this is what I do. This is what I do. And so it's, again, hours go by, you look up, you've written. And what's most interesting as a writer, the part I like most is that obviously when I'm starting a story, I'm creating these characters, I'm fashioning them, I'm figuring out who they are, what they're going to do. And then I get to the point where when I sit down to write, it's no longer me writing them, I'm entering their world. And I'm just following along with what these characters are about to do next. And so when I reach that point in the writing process, again, I'm the outsider coming into their world. So again, very appreciative. And when I'm going up for those awards, I went up for them 3 times. I'm just thankful for everyone who was involved, because it's a lot. It's a lot of work putting together a film. And, as you've said, it takes dedication.
Mm-hmm. I was there when you got them. I loved it.
Oh,
You've seen your face. It was just, I felt it in a different way, if that makes sense. Because I got to see her walk up there, and it was like, they called her a kid. They called her a kid. And her face was like, really?
I know. I started feeling greedy after a while. Like, oh, this friend.
Get greedy, girl.
Right?
Get greedy. It's okay. So, Miss Carol Diggs, I'll give it over to you now.
Deserved at least the small is definitely deserved as far as your awards, that your opportunity to take home. And special shout out to Miss Michelle for producing and bringing together the Black Film Festival, which next year will make 10 whole years to achieve. We'll have had that in place. And it was wonderful even being behind the scenes for me to see Mr. John Amos come through. So special congratulatory legacy award to him as well. But we definitely thank him for all the work that he has done. So I have to ask Tennyson and Honor, what do you guys like to do what do you enjoy?
I'll go first. So I'm very much into fitness. Oh.
No, go ahead, Tennyson. I can let you go. You started. Yeah.
You good.
Yeah. So I'm very much into fitness and even professional bodybuilding. And my day job is I'm a teacher, but I'm also a personal trainer. So very much into the fitness industry and competitive bodybuilding.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Tennyson is awesome.
How long have you been doing this, Tennyson?
How long? So yeah, that's a whole journey by itself. It just I started to fitness for me was like therapy. Being a inner city teacher, I had a lot of tension, and I needed to have an outlet for it. And so I just started going to the gym, and I probably wandered around for about 2 years, just not knowing what I was doing and not getting any results. And then I started to research, and before I knew it, I was making really significant gains. And before I knew it, they were asking me to train at the gym, and I said yes. And I really started to like seeing other people have the same transformation that I did, just physically, just because it doesn't just change you physically. It also, I see them walking straighter and a little bit more attitude and a little bit more confidence and a little bit more. I'm like, wow. And it's just amazing how what you feel about yourself on the outside can also impact how you feel on the inside, and just physically. And so, and then before I knew it, my friend had asked me, do you want to compete on stage? And that's a whole nother level of, just dieting and whatever. It's just, it tries your soul. I wasn't about it. I was like, why do I need to be on stage? I'm enjoying my game. But I was like, after a while, I wanted the challenge, and I wanted to beat the challenge. I wanted to know I could get to the finish line. And so like that was very motivating to me. And I took the leap. And last year, I had one show that was canceled during COVID in 2020. And last year I got back on stage, and I won second place. It was
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
Let's
so
get it.
yeah, it was a pretty big. It was like an Eastern Coast Classic, so it was a big show. A lot of athletes there, and so coming second place on my first show that was a journey by itself.
Wow.
But, yeah.
An honor.
Yeah. I had to think about this. Like a lot has changed in the past 2 years for me, so I'm like just going down the little timeline. But I love creating. Outside of being an actress. I'm just an artist in itself. So just that's my meditation. So I've like stumbled across different ways to create. But then I mentioned earlier that I have been focused on my own business and just getting it off the ground, and it's been really successful. I'm a professional development trainer. I facilitate all types of trainings that are, transformative. I love being able to provide people with tools so that they can go on and inspire others. So I've been really focused on that, and I've been focused on transforming myself, right? Life has been real for me this past year and a half. So, I've just been, attacking my trauma and demons and trying to be the best version of myself that there is. So that is my goal. that's what I'm on right now. So yeah, it's been good. It's been a blessing, and I'm grateful. I've been walking and moving in gratitude.
This was really cool working with Honor, because like over the years we've been each other's biggest fans,
for years.
for each other. Yeah,
Really?
Just rooting for each other. Like she's an incredible person. So many like I don't know anybody with her energy. I really don't. Like she is superhuman. No sleep. She just keeps moving. Like she is a superhuman. No, I am not exaggerating.
Yes.
I don't know many people with that kind of energy. Like when I don't get sleep, I'm half my brain capacity. Honor just keeps moving. Like during the whole filming, she was like going on very little sleep, and she just kept chugging. And like just more energy than I did. And it was so good to work on.
I gotta ask this question because
I can't stop laughing. Yeah.
Like Ms.Vonnetta said, I had the pleasure to sit in there and experience previewing her film, which is, I still talk about it today. Yeah. What is it like working with Ms.Vonnetta?
Oh, I
wanna
gotta
know.
start with this. Vonnetta is a gift. Okay, like she is so passionate about these words that she put on paper that you were bringing in life in front of her. I mean, she's passionate. She's dedicated. She's ethical, right? She guides you in the most authentic ways possible. You know, let me say this. How many days did we were on set together? It was like 18, 20 some days. I mean, I would say within the first 2 days we were family. You know, I felt taken care of.
Yeah.
You know, we were family by day 3, so
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yes, and I think Honor is probably the one who was up in the middle of the night, in the morning, along with me. There were times where I get a text and she gets, we're like, go to sleep, and I'm like, I can't. Because often, you know, I was up to 2 a.m.
All the time.
Then would get up at 7 a.m. so that we could get to set. So it was part, I guess, adrenaline and, but yeah, and if I could add, so Honor and Tennyson, as they shared, you know, they had a history of working together. We were strangers coming into the process, at least for me, getting to know them. And so, but again, as Honor mentioned, that didn't last very long because you know, when you come to a film set, oftentimes it can be like the first day of school, right? You don't know each other, you're getting to know each other, but again, you click, the energy comes about. And, you know, every production, you know, of course, has its challenges. I can sort of plan for this perfect filming day, but you know what? It's not going to be perfect. So I just have to kind of be able to work through obstacles. But I will say, and I don't even know if Honor and Tennyson sort of know this, of course, work with the casting director to seek our actors for the exit role. And first of all, they both nailed their auditions. Tennyson, amazing.
Tennyson is a beast. I can't describe how
I saw the acting.
I seen it.
Right now.
Real.
He's so pure and so real that
so authentic.
Everything. And Honor, I actually, I think I may have been looking at some of Tennyson's work after his audition, and I feel like I came across Honor, and I think I saw one picture of Honor. I said, "That's it. She's Sasha. That is Sasha."
Wow.
I hadn't even seen her audition yet, but what I saw in her just appearance is I felt like I saw the complexity and the range that would be needed for Sasha's character. And so I reached out to Honor. And let me share this for actors who may be listening. Honor's contact information was readily available, whether it's through IMDb or sort of wherever. So as soon as I saw sort of her images, I was able to send her an email. And so I guess my point there to others who may be want to make themselves available, don't make it hard for directors and producers to find you. Provide the right level of information, have it available. But again, when I saw Honor, I said, that's it. She's Sasha. She is Sasha. And so I invited her to submit a reel. And so during casting, I always choose the sides, or I should say portion of the script that the actor who's going to play the role, really, I should say the most either difficult or challenging portion of the script, because I need to be able to sort of see a certain amount of range. And the bottom line is if they can nail that, then they can play the entire role with no problem. And so I get Honor in her audition tape. I was just like, wow. It confirmed what I saw. And so she was Sasha from day one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You should have seen it though, because you know, we did the callback, and thank you so much, Vonnetta. I was so excited to get the call back, and then I walk into where the location was, and I see Tennyson. I'm like, oh snap! Like, we had no idea
That's right.
that both of us got the call back for this project. So of course, you know, we're doing some code reads. We're doing some of the sides that we already were familiar with, and then they were doing chemistry tests. So it was like, once, and Tennyson, correct me if I'm wrong, but once we realized that we were both going for the leads in this, and we would play opposite of one another. So we were doing for the chemistry test, like, yo, we just went so hard, and like it was fluid. It just instantly connected. And they allowed us to improv as well, right? Because I remember y'all would allow us to keep going on. So Tennis and I just did our thing, and then we were done. At the end, we just gave each other like a little five, like a yeah, yo, we did that. Yeah. And sure enough, like in that moment for me, Tennyson, tell me if you think that, I was like, oh, it's ours. It's ours. It felt like it was for us. And what? How many? A week, a couple days later, Vonnetta called. I was like, yes,
yes.
Well, another story about that, like that's kind of wild, is that we did not chemistry tests, but once we got the role, we were doing like character building exercises.
Yes.
And the director had asked us, like several questions separately. What would your answer be? Separately. We weren't in the same room or at the time. And just like, what would Sasha do? He would ask me, or what would Bryce do, and whatever. We went like kind of like a marital counseling session, like just to build character. And but separate questions. We answered all, I think it was 20 questions or 12. One of those. It was a lot of
like 20.
And we answered all of them the same.
All of them.
Are you serious?
He had never seen anything like this. Yes. We answered all of them the same, separate rooms, and we were just like listening to the results, and it was hilarious.
What?
We just had know each other like that. It was like, it was easy. It was just it was the easiest acting I've ever done because of working with her. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And so for the audience out there who's going to see the exit row, believe them, they bring it all to the screen, So it was.
See my face.
Yes.
Yes.
And I would say there are times on set where, of course, everyone's sort of focused, and I get very focused in the zone, making sure everything's going as it should. But let me just tell you, this cast, there are times that they just wow me so much because they bring out so much more in the character than, again, you have a script, you have this idea of this character is, but again, because they can take it to that next level and make those words a real person, they blow my mind. And I don't always get to show that on set because I'm trying to stay focused, don't want to break their concentration. But there are times where I just walk into another room and I'm like, I'm beyond words because they just bring all of this to it. And they're the gift to me, right? Like, I can imagine it, but they make it real and they make it happen. So they're the gift.
That is so amazing.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, I'm not so happy over there.
I'm like, she about to get emotional.
Don't get the tears out, girl.
There's one
okay.
This is huge. Yeah, I miss it. I miss it a lot.
To know, because y'all are so on screen.
Yes.
Yeah. Y'all are so great on. One thing that I do have to know: do y'all have what formal training? Do you have formal training, or did you start out with community, or did you start it in the first?
I love that question.
That's easy to answer. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
You go first. Yeah.
I'll go first. Okay. So I have always been just an animated performing child. I am an only child, always had a big imagination. So I was always in my room with all of my stuffed animals. My favorite movie was Little Shop of Horrors, and I know every single word, and I'd be in there acting like Audrey 2 is the plant. I mean, that is who I always have been. But then once I was like, oh, I should really take this seriously. I mean, I know that you can't get the best at anything unless you train. right? So I figured out, what classes were where. I'd find out who was in the acting in classes, who's in the business, and I would ask and just try to get as much information as I could. I took classes at Everyman's Theater. I got an acting coach, Katie Kalaki. She's great. I worked with Mark McKinnon at McKinnon Acting Studios. I tried to work with the best of the best that was in our area. And then, of course, what is training is the experience itself, right? So actually being on set and working with amazing actors like Tennyson, because what happens is they push you, they level you up. So it's a variety of things. It's formal training. I mean, I didn't go to school for it. I went to acting class. I didn't go to college for this, but classes, YouTube University, other actors, and then playing make believe, in my room, in the mirror, and dressing up for Halloween. That's acting for me. So a lot of all of that. That was a lot. All right, Tennessee, your turn. Tag.
Yeah. I same thing. Like, I didn't go to formal acting school. I would love to go to conservatory. That wouldn't even be school to me. That would be just a joy. Because acting is not work for me. It's a little work, but it's the working is sitting around and waiting for your turn. That's the hard part. But I started like honor when I was a kid. I grew up in church, and I would write plays for the kids to do in Sunday school. And my teacher would, like, every time there was something weird, like an anniversary or something, they would look at me and like, okay, so are you writing the play? And I'd be like, okay. And I would go, I would just write the plays. I did it at school. I would write plays and I would put them on. And so it was the passion. It was, it was there from when I was a kid. I didn't fight for it. And when in college, I was kind of moving away from it. I didn't think that I should get a degree in acting, but I always kind of had my foot in it. I would take a class here, even when I was at a business school. I found their acting department. I took an acting class, and I went to another school. I took an acting class, and I would, help with their stage productions. But honestly, I didn't have any confidence in myself, and I didn't think I was good. I would look at some of their stage productions. I'm like, man, they're so good. And I didn't have that. For some reason, I didn't have any confidence. And something happened when I kind of got older. I decided to start dabbling in community theater. And that's, to me, was the best training, was starting with theater. If you can, because it ironed out a lot of my bad habits. The directors were my best teachers. Like, they would say, stop moving. You're moving. You keep, plant your feet. And they would iron out some of my bad habits. And the first production I went for, I got the lead role in the musical, and then I went again and I got the lead role, and I went again, and I was like, what's happening? I was like, I didn't think I was any good. And I was like, what's happening?
Amazing.
I love her. I started to build confidence. Somebody must see something. And I started with musicals, and then I moved to what I realized with musicals was I didn't like the singing part. I liked the drama part. And so started moving away from singing and to do real dramas. And then I was like, whoa, film is, it lasts forever. Like even my friends don't come, it's like they can see it later. It's it's forever. And also, once you do it and you do it well, you just move on. The theater is it's like, well, I have to repeat this. That was an amazing performance. I have to repeat it 20 more times. It was so exhausting. And kudos. I still love the purity of theater. There's you start it and you are that person until the end of the production. There's no cut. There's no nothing. It's pure acting, but it also is highly, highly demanding on your time, and hard to commit that time. You got to be there no matter what. There's no days off, nothing. So yeah, that was my journey. I would say the directors. I also worked with Mark McKinnon. He's a wonderful person, because not just an acting teacher, but if he sees something in you, he's still calling me. I took 4 classes with him. He's still calling me and offering me up for auditions. Like, he looked out for me. Like, he treated me like a little brother. He's a wonderful human being. So kind,
really
so
is.
no ego at all.
None.
And just yeah, he's an amazing human being. Yeah.
He's amazing.
No, he really. I mean, you know. You know this industry, right? There's a lot of times there's a lot of competitiveness, and people are out for themselves. He's not. He's a sharer. He's
Rare.
Like, hey, we're all in this together. Like, he's, it's just a beautiful thing to be like that in this crazy industry.
Yes.
What about you, Ms.Vonnetta? As far as writing, did you ever get into any acting yourself?
That's so interesting to it. So for me, writing, I was a little kid who always had a book with me pretty much everywhere I went. My mom, I had that subscription to, was it Weekly Reader or whatever? So I loved when books would arrive at my house. Early on, I was a person who liked to write poems. So I feel like I've been a writer since I learned how to write. So I knew I would grow up to be a writer. I didn't know exactly what I would write for then. But when I saw Do the Right Thing, I said, okay, I know I'm writing for film, because of the impact that Do the Right Thing just had on me as an audience member. And so once I made that decision, yes, I'm going to be a filmmaker, I studied film in undergraduate school. Film was part of my concentration. I majored in mass communications. Film was my concentration. I considered going to NYU for film school after undergrad. And quite honestly, I said, okay, I don't really need an MFA from NYU to make it in film. Obviously not knocking it, but no one in my family sort of did this, and I wasn't ready to go to New York or LA at that time, right after undergraduate school. Because again, I'm not the type to like rely on living with strangers. So I just clearly wasn't ready for that. And so I went to graduate school. I studied journalism and public affairs. And so really from there, just trying to create a sort of a well-rounded career in the area of communications, really trying to combine everything that I love. And I started working in corporate America, corporate communications. And so after about 10 years, I was itching to get back to film. And so that led to starting Cine 30 Media. And so, yes, I did study film, but had kind of been away from it for a little while, right? But it never left me. I always think in stories. I remember telling people at times, like, I'm only here until Hollywood is calling, right? When Hollywood calls, I'm gone. So,
right.
So writing is something I've always done. And, and I always knew, even if I worked somewhere else, I've got to have this creative thing on my own to do. And so, and I always knew I'd do my own thing at some point. So for me, this is all sort of just moving along sort of on my path, and whatever it takes to continue doing it, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm doing. I'll be writing, producing till the end of my days. So, and so, yep. And just like Honor and Tennyson said, you continue to learn and grow. And I think at the core of it, while there's new technology, new platforms, at the core of it is always improving in your craft, knowing your craft, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. It doesn't matter how necessarily the story is delivered. It's making sure that you know your craft. So everybody out there, learn your craft. Learn your craft.
Yes.
Yes, learn your craft.
Y'all hear that? Learn your craft. Using those extended versions of yourself.
Right.
Oh, seriously. It never stops.
Yes. And when you asked the question about, I guess, did I ever take an acting class? It's funny. I have not. But before I made the leap to start Cine 30 Media, I was saying to myself, you know what? I feel like maybe I should take a directing class. Maybe I should take an acting class. But really, all that was doing was leading me to starting Cine 30 Media, right? It was sort of these thoughts along the way. It's like, wait a minute, this is what so.
The journey.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That is so beautiful. So beautiful.
About it. Tell us about your media company.
About Cine 30 Media. So Cine 30 Media was launched in October 2011, actually. So Bad to Best Degree is the first feature film to come out of Cine 30 Media. At some point, I'm sure they'll be further branching out, but I really just love long form stories. I love narrative. And that's what I focus on doing, writing and producing feature films. And so the intent is to continue to build on that, continue to grow. I am beyond excited about where the exit row is going. And so, as with all things, just more to come. Just continue.
Where is it going?
All the way up.
I'm saying,
coming to the world very soon. I know.
Actors always, I mean, we always want to know. Yes, we do projects and we move on to the next, but it's like, you know, especially ones that stand out to you. I mean, Exit Row is always going to have a sacred place in my heart. Will always be with me. So it's like you want all your projects to do well, and we're rooting for Exit Row. You know, people that came and saw it, they loved it, and they want other people to see it. So we're excited.
Right. Yeah, so it's just a matter of time that the Exit Row will be streaming broadly. So and beyond streaming as well. So I'm not gonna let any of y'all trip me up and say something too soon. But the Exit Row is coming, no doubt about it.
So do you have any other projects coming up?
There's always something in development as a writer. Like I'm writing even when I'm not necessarily putting words on paper. Ideas are always coming. So yes, what's coming next is already being processed.
Right, I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Now, for those who may want to, if they may want to learn more or find out about auditions or what have you, how could we reach out to you for that information?
For Cine 30 Media specifically, people can go to www.cine30media.com. We do have an info@cine30media.com web address. Of course, we are on, and once you go to the Cine 30 Media website, you'll also see links to our social media sites, so individuals can follow us there as well. And so that's probably the best way right now. But of course, once I'm ready to start casting for the next project, then that information will be made available at that time. But I will say that that's likely not to happen within the next year, to be quite honest. So never like to give any false impressions of anything.
Okay. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. All right. Well, we have definitely enjoyed having each of you online today on the platform. Do you have anything else you wanted to say before we begin to wrap this session up?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for being here. It's been a pleasure to have you. Always a pleasure to see Ms.Vonnetta.
Oh, thank you, Lynn.
Very, very, very captivated with her. And I think what you're doing is very amazing. And I wish you guys the best. I know that Exit Row is going to go boom. And I just thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And I want to also make sure that Honor and Tennyson have a chance to share their social media sites as well, so that folks can connect with them.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Everything's Honor Drew. So I think my name's on here somewhere, but it's at Honor Drew. Google me. Everything will come up. Follow me on all. There it is. Everything's at Honor Drew.
So if any of you guys have anything to add, to share, to let people know, if you have anything that you want them to follow, here's your opportunity to go ahead and let it out and let it be known.
I want to thank you guys for having us and help and just highlighting, hardworking individuals in the industry and for what you're doing to do that. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very selfless. Also, if you want to follow me on I have Tennyson Harris Fitness. There's actually underscores in there. Tennyson_Harris_fitness on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. You can also find me on TikTok, Tennyson Harris, and Facebook, Tennyson Harris. That's right.
Anybody want to add anything else?
Well, that's
Lynn and Coco, I would, again, as Honor and Tennyson shared, like to thank you for making this platform available so that we can continue to highlight not only what we do, but be a voice and be an inspiration, be motivation, and just show up and so that people can see that it can be done. And something that Honor and Tennyson spoke to one point, the notion of sort of not believing yourself. I would tell any actors out there, anyone who wants to be in this business, believe in yourself. You're feeling it. You have this passion for a reason. And so let it come through, trust in yourself. I know that I, as a producer, anyone that I'm ever casting, I already believe in you 100%. I know you can do it, which is why I cast you, or whether you're part of the crew. So believe in yourself, because I already do when I'm working with you.
Yeah. For sure. Thank you all so very much. Vonnetta and Tennyson, it's so good to see y'all faces.
Yes, good to see you too.
I can't wait to share this because I'm gonna share this, all on our social media so they can
yes.
see.
Share. Everybody.
Right.
Yeah. No, for
Thank
sure.
you.
I'm gonna make sure I find y'all so I can follow you too. Because this is awesome. We got to continue to spread all this good work that's going on out here. So kudos.
Amen.
Thank you. And yes, to check on what Vonnetta was saying, like, if there's something you really want to do, you just got to do it, and just got to put in the work, right? Just do the research, find out as much about it as you can. Because I just remember first starting and just being like, I have no idea what to do, and I wish I had someone like me. Because now when people, are wanting to get into it, I'm like, here's the first 10 steps. And then come back to me after you do that.
Yeah, and when you do learn, like Honor does, because I know this about her, is you turn around and you help people that are also trying to get in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think that I really do believe in reaping what you sow. And so if you sow hard work, you will reap the benefits of it.
Yep.
Just like if you sow kindness, you will reap the benefits of it. And I also want to commend Vonnetta. I have complete faith that I will see this on a streaming service.
Yes.
Because she has gotten this far,
Yes.
and I've never seen anybody work as hard as she does
No.
for the project. I have not.
Yes.
She's very meticulous. And every time I think, like I haven't heard anything for a while, she pops up at some festival and wins an award. And then, I'm like, I haven't heard anything for a while. I'm so used to that feeling. Like, I haven't heard anything for a while. I hit the director up at Vonnetta's working. I know she's working. Very meticulous.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm really, really, really impressed by her. So
We all are.
Ditto. No, that's real. That's real. What?
Definitely.
All that love goes right
you
around.
can sell that, right?
Well, y'all make
all that goes around.
Hashtag that.
we can sell that.
Oh, well, I guess we are at the end
All right,
of this.
So everybody. Make sure you go to YouTube and look up the exit road. The trailer.
Yes.
Check it out.
Follow everybody on our
Hit subscribe.
Follow. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Oh, it's nice meeting y'all. And
thank you, Coco and Lynn.
Yes, thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet the people behind the screen.
Welcome.
Pleasure to meet you both. Pleasure. I was already on y'all YouTube checking y'all out. Oh, look at that guy. Like, come on now. We got to support one another.
Oh,
That definitely. And if y'all have any hashtags, send them to us, because we always hashtag anybody doing. Yeah.
Okay.
We got a hashtag.
Yes. All right. Well, y'all have a great night. Have a great weekend.
Well, you so much, and you too.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, Vonnetta. Talk to you later.
Right.
Bless you, Vonnetta.
Bye, Tennyson.
Thank you.
Later. Bye, Honor.
Bye. Talk to you later.
Bye.
It's just so